क्लास ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्मादि यस्य यथोन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारी मृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। हरि ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome to the Ubhaya Vibhuti Varanam course. Um, the name was given by His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saura Prasad Swami Maharaj. Under whose leadership we have this Bhaktivedanta College here in ISKCON Mira Road, Shri Radhagiridhari Temple. And before we begin to give you a meaning of the title of the course, so, Ubhaya means both. Like we have in Bhagavad Gita first chapter, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye. So Ubhayor means the spiritual world and the material world. Vibhuti, there are various meanings of the word Vibhuti in Sanskrit. Vibhuti means a general meaning is opulence. Yad yad vibhutimat sattvam Srimad Urjitam evava tattat eva vagachatvam mama teja amsha sambhavam. And Varnam means it's a synonym of Vivaranam, meaning description. So description of the spiritual and material worlds. The word Vibhuti, it may seem that referring to the one of the verse in the second canto where we have Tripad Vibhuti and Ekapad Vibhuti. So like that is one of the reasons to have Vibhuti word. The other reason is also the supplementary topics which are covered in the course, which will be covered. That is the Kala Chakra, because the Kala in this world is the greatest Vibhuti of the Lord. It is a manifestation of the Lord, in-person manifestation, and also the greatest Vibhuti. Also, when we hear about the descriptions of this of the material world, the creation process, and the diversity which is there, we understand the Vibhu of the Lord. Vibhu means powerful and all-pervading. Okay, Srila Prabhupada, when he used to say that we know God is great, but we must know how great. So, in this course, before we begin today, the outline of the course would be in day one. Today we'll be having the introduction to the course content, why we are studying this, and also covering Goloka. In the second day, that is tomorrow, we'll have, maybe perhaps if we get time tomorrow, today only we will cover the Dwarka, Mathura, and Jagannath Puri. Or tomorrow we will cover it with Vaikuntha and its 7 layers, Avaranas and gates of Vaikuntha. After that, on the third day, we'll have Viraja, the Sarga, creation, and touching upon the Visarga, the creation of the birth of Lord Brahma and his creation. After that, then we'll enter into the material world and we'll see the description of the material world. We'll be talking about Chaturdasha Bhuvana Vivaranam, the description of the 14 planetary systems, which can be divided into like a vertical description and the horizontal description of the Bhumandala. After that, we'll touch upon first with karma, and because from there only the Kala Chakra, the concept of Kala Chakra, we have the concept of Kala Chakra, and from there we'll succinctly, briefly give an outline of Jyotisham, which will also have Panchang. At the end, on the last day, we'll have the conclusion, revision, and also, if you know, if when I studied Brihat Bhagavatam Rita, we'll also see the story of Gopakumar, because that is very much relevant to our course. So, with this being the outline of the course, first we will talk about why are we studying this course. If you see in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadev Goswami to please begin describing the material world, 5.16.1 to 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj, and 16, the 4th verse is spoken by Shukadev Goswami. So he says that, if one can also simultaneously open 5.16. So first in the 16.1 and 16.2, he is asking about to speak about this he's mentioning the various topics. And in the 3rd verse, he says that why it is essential to hear about the process of creation. Says that when the mind is fixed upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his external feature made of the material modes of nature, the gross universal form, it is brought to the platform of pure goodness. In that transcendental position, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, who is in his subtler form, is self-effulgent and beyond the modes of material nature. O my Lord, please describe vividly how that form which covers the entire universe is perceived. And then Shukadev Goswami is expressing his limitations, and which we have to understand. That, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead's material nature. This material world is a transformation of the 3 gunas. I'm just paraphrasing it. And no one in this material world is perfect, and imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. Therefore, I shall try to explain to you the principal regions such as Bhulok with its name, forms, measurements, and symptoms. So the purport is that it is not possible for anyone to perfectly describe, let alone this material world, so what to speak about the spiritual world. Okay, and as I also said previously, one of the reasons why we are studying is to know how great God is. When we study the description, we will understand it. For example, we have the length, the breadth, and the height, 3 dimensions. In modern science, they have time also as the 4th dimension. So 4 dimensions, and by speculation, by mathematical approximation, they go it up until 10 dimensions, 33 dimensions, 34 dimensions in the string theory. However, in the Vedas, this material world is said to be consisting of 64 dimensions. Okay, and one way of visualizing that we find in the Shri Yantra. If you see the Shri Yantra structure and the triangles which are there in between, we can actually see the 64 dimensions. So that is also not the exact dimensions, that is just the approximation of the dimensions. Okay, because in reality, it is not even possible to like the way we comprehend the three dimensions in a very physical way, it is not even possible to comprehend those dimensions. So the universe exists in a 64 dimension, 64 dimensional way. And what Shukadev Goswami spoke about, it is described, he spoke it from the point of view of the demigods. The Devta's point of view, from that he spoke about. He gave the description of the universe. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.22 verse, we can also refer to that verse. Therein we see that it is being described in Sripad Madhvacharya. Sripad Madhvacharya had written a commentary, Bhagavad Tatparya Nirnaya. And therein, if we check that 32nd verse, we see that therein the description is that you manifest your different energies in countless forms as living entities born from womb, from eggs, perspiration, plants, trees that grow out of earth, as all living entities, both moving, standing, including the demigods, the learned sages, pitas, and all. So I'm just paraphrasing it. You can go and refer to it. Indeed, all the star planets are simply manifestation of your different energies, but originally you are the one without a second. Therefore, there is nothing beyond you. This entire cosmic manifestation, therefore, is not false, but is simply a temporary manifestation of your inconceivable energy. So, in Sripad Madhvacharya, in comment to it, he says that the Lord is called Sarvanam. There is one name of the Lord, Sarvanam. So we have that the Mahanarayana Upanishad, there is that mantra that Narayan, Vishnu, Narayana, Shiva, Narayana, Indra. So all these names, they originally are of the Lord. And the Lord gave the different names to different devatas. Okay. So it is not just metaphorically, it is being said, but the implication what Sripad Madhvacharya says that it is because everything is a manifestation of Lord's energy. And that is why the Lord, his different energies, is what the universe consists of. In ISKCON, specifically talking about in ISKCON, we have Srila Prabhupada, who was very much emphasized to have the temple of Vedic planetarium, okay, in Mayapur. And at various places, he has given the directions on how to have it. So by the time Srila Prabhupada left this planet, physically, the plan was ready on as to what is to be done. Okay, when there was one map which was not figured out, but roughly the plan, the outline was figured out. And Srila Prabhupada, he says that it would be nice if we are able to show four things: the passing of seasons, the passing of day and night, the movement of sun, Nagra, and the description of the Bhumandala. So that was Srila Prabhupada saying what he wanted in the TOVP, that 3D model which will be there in the temple. Apart from that, Srila Prabhupada, and when we go to Mayapur, they also have that poster. He says that my idea is to attract the whole world to Sridham Mayapur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, also, as we know the story, he had the vision of a very grand temple which will manifest there, and the place where the TOVP is coming. So, Srila Prabhupada was very keen to have a 3D model which explains the cosmology based on our scriptures. And after that, Dr. Richard Thompson, his great Sadabhuta Prabhu, he took up this project and he began the study. He was the first person to actually publish books on this. I think one name of the book is The Sacred Universe. Something he has, The Sacred Mysterious Universe. 2-3 books he had published on this. And then somehow the construction of the temple could not begin. It was only in the 2000s, early 2000s, that the construction actually commenced. And within 2 months, Sadabhuta Prabhu, he completed the 3D model. And immediately after that, he left his body. After that, we have His Holiness Danaveer Goswami Maharaj. He had a team also. and he took up, like he was the director, the cosmology director in the TOVP, and apart from that, also he did extensive research in the field of cosmology. In fact, he under with his team, he studied the cosmology. He has taken the excerpts from all the different Puranas, and he has published. There is a Bhugola Tattva book, and there is one. I don't remember the name, but he has all the commentaries of all the different acharyas on the fifth canto. He has translated that, and also the Surya Siddhant. After that, in his team only, his Grace Gokul Chandra Prabhu from ISKCON Salem, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's disciple, he and his team, they had prepared the Goloka chart, which is also shared in the group. So you please simultaneously keep referring, because we will be referring to the chart. That is what, like, will you can open it maybe in your next, in your second device or parallel along with this meeting, and you can refer to it. So he prepared the Goloka chart, and he had taken the seminar. First, he had taken in, I think so, in Sridham Mayapur, that is there on YouTube, and now many other devotees, they have also taken a course on Goloka chart. And their aim was, because in South India there is a prominent feeling of Vishnu being superior, so they wanted to show the superiority of Krishna, and with that aim they prepared the Goloka chart. So as we see in the Goloka chart, roughly there are three divisions to the Goloka chart. We have the Goloka, okay, and the Avaranas. Avaranas means surroundings. Okay, Avarana is a Sanskrit term, which means it can also mean wall, but it means surrounding. Then we have the lotus of Vaikunta, and below we have the material worlds, the Viraja river and the material worlds. So to show that the superiority of Goloka, he had prepared that chart. After that, in ISKCON Chapati, His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhu, he wrote one book, Bhagavata Cosmology. And he also prepared a 3D model. He has also taken a course. 2-3 times he has taken the course. Now he is doing his PhD in this topic from IIT Mandi. So he and His Grace Prema Gauranga Prabhu, and other people, they prepared the Bhagavad Cosmology, and they have also made one study book on Surya Siddhanta. So this is the history of development of cosmology in ISKCON specifically. And of course, there are other several devotees in America, in Australia, in Europe, who are independently, they are contributing, they are researching in this field. And to talk about which books specifically talk about the cosmology. One is the, of course, in the Vedas, there are some indications to this topic. Apart from that, we have extensive description in the Puranas, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahman Puran, practically each and every Purana, because one of the 10 topics, Sarga, Visarga, Sanam, Poshanam, Utiya, Manvantarani, Ishanukuta, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashrayam. Sarga and Visarga, that topic is there in a Mahapurana, and even in Upapurana also, we have a succinct description. Somewhere or the other, we have the description of the creation. In Ramayana also, we find an extensive description in the Kishkinda Kand, which is given by Sugriva. Okay, that was in front of Bhagavan Ramachandra and Lakshmana. So he's giving that description. And in Mahabharata also, in Sabha Parva, I think so specifically in the Bhishma Parva, we have the description. And there in the Bharat Khanda, we'll see what is Bharat Khanda, is mentioned as Sudarshan. Also, we have the description in specifically talking about the Sampradaya. In Madhva Sampradaya, there's one book, Bhugola Varanam, by Sri Vadiraj Tirtha. It is said that he actually personally went to all this lokas. He had access, because we'll see about his life when we come to the description of the material world. He had himself traveled to all the different places in this material world. We saw that, he experienced that, and then he has written this book, Bhugola Varanam. And after that, like once he had left his body, then he entered someone else's body, and he had written his own biography also. So it's a very authentic source. He himself went to all the places, and then he has written. In the Sri Sampradaya, we have Vedanta Deshika, the famous Vedanta Deshika, a very great Acharya. He has written several books expounding the Vishishtadvait philosophy, Sripad Ramanacharya. So he had written the book Bhugola Nirnaya. And after that, there is also one more book, Purana Marga Dipika, written by Tiruvenkata J.R. Swami. And he had also prepared a map of Bharatakhanda. And he wrote a book, Purana Marga Dipika. The book Bhugol Tattva, which is written by Danavir Goswami Maharaj, he has one chapter dedicated to all these books. Okay, and basically, if one reads Bhagavad Vasmalaji and if one is attending this course, we'll have the description which is present on this. Also, to talk about, if you see, this course is based upon primarily on seven, 8 sources of books. From specifically talking from our Gaudiya Sampradaya, it is based on Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. From taking references from Madhva Sampradaya, we have it from Bhugol Navaranam. From Sri Sampradaya, we have it from Bhugol Nirnay and Purana Marga Dipika. In Puranas, it is based on Bhagavatam. Pancharatra also on Brahma Samhita. The description of the Goloka, which we will see today, is mainly based on Brahma Samhita. And Brahma Samhita, it is, as if one is not aware of, it is not a Vedic text, but it is a Pancharatric text. It is not a Samhita part of the Vedas, but it is a Pancharatric text. And when we talk about the, when we'll be talking about the Kala Chakra, that is based on the Surya Siddhanta, which was spoken by Surya Dev himself, specifically by one of his Amsha to Mayadana. Okay, so with this being the introduction, if there is any doubt, then you can ask. Otherwise, we will proceed to Goloka. Before that, there is one verse which we can also describe about. The question on as to why the Lord manifests, if you can also open simultaneously the Goloka chart, wherein you will see there are 2 lotuses. There is the Goloka lotus, and then there is a Vaikuntha lotus. Okay, actually, if you see, so the description is we have the material world, then the Vaikuntha lotus and the lotus of Goloka. But the explanation is that, so when we go to the spiritual world, we will have the Goloka, the lotus of Goloka in between. Okay, now one has to understand this, that this is the way we are speaking. It is not exactly the way it is there. Okay, we are speaking in a mechanical way, limited by the physical and time dimensions. But the spiritual world, that is, it is of a different, it is of Vishuddha Sattva, beyond the 3 gunas. Okay, so what we talk about is in our own terms, in our own way. In the Goloka chart also, if you see, it is if one carefully sees, that is in the form of a yantra, of a yajna kund. Okay, but this description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Karinikaram mahad yantram shatkoram vajrakilagam. We'll see that. But that is also a way to explain it to us. So when we go to the spiritual world, the devotee to whom he is devoted to, that incarnation of the Lord, his planet will be in the center of the entire spiritual vyoma. So if someone is a Kurmadev devotee, so when he goes, he will see Lord Kurmadev's planet in between, and Goloka will be one of the planets. If one is Lord Narayan's devotee, he will have the Vaikuntha planet. If one is Krishna's devotee, he will have Krishna planet in between. But so because it manifests in that way, because spiritual world, okay, as we will see, there's one verse in Bhagavatam. I think so. It is from 3rd canto, somewhere in the 3rd canto, that why the Lord manifests so many different forms. It is from 3.9.11. It is said that the Lord, because the devotees, different devotees, they consider Lord in different way, in different forms, with a different proclivity. They aspire towards the Lord. They have their aspirations too. And thereby Lord manifests in different forms. I'll just open the verse 3.9.11. Therein, these are the prayers of Brahma's prayer for the creative energy, 9th chapter. Says that you are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Okay, so that is the reason why we have all the different planets which are there. Specifically talking, so as we discussed, one goes, so in reality, it is the Goloka which is there in the center. But if Lord Kurmadev, Narasimhadev, if they are devotee, if they go, they will see the respective deities planet in the middle portion of the Vyoma. Okay. So now, specifically talking about the Goloka, I have shared in the group the first 5 verses of Brahma Samhita. So we'll share the notes in the subsequent classes. We'll actually share the notes. But for today, these 5 verses are sufficient because there it is where we find prominent description of the Goloka. So if we see in the Goloka chart, you can simultaneously refer to the Goloka chart. It is in the form of a lotus with 1,000 petals. So the first was Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Raja Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The fact that Lord Krishna, he is the Sachidananda Vigraha and he is the Sarva Karana Karanam. And how is so is what is being described in the Brahma Samhita, and we'll see in our course. The second verse which is there of the Brahma Samhita, Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakya Mahatpadam Tat Karnikaram Tad Dhama Tad Anantamsha Sambhavam. And so it is not exactly that there are 1,000 lotuses. Okay, it is a metaphorical way. It is there are unlimited lotus petals in the Goloka. One has to understand that this Goloka planet, this Goloka which is there, okay, this is a fully conscious planet. Okay, it is not how we have planets in our material world. Okay, these are all Jada Tattva. But everything in spiritual world, it is spiritual, sentient in its existence. And it is a fully conscious planet. And the planet, it manifests its ways according to the will of the Lord. The way the Lord Krishna desires, that way there is the entire manifestation. If the Lord wants, so there is no time in the material, in the spiritual world. Only way the time is present is to facilitate the Leela. We have the Ashta Prakara Leela, which is there. Ashtaprahara Leela. So to facilitate that, okay, from one prahar to move to the other prahar, we have the time. But time in the sense that so every prahar is for 3 hours. So if there is a Nishada Leela which is going on, okay, Nishad means the evening Leelas. So it is not exactly that it goes for 3 hours. If it wants, Krishna can expand that 3 hours for 6, 7, 8, 12 hours. If he wants, he can wind it up in 20 minutes. Okay. But so there is sun and moon in the Goloka planet, but it is just to facilitate the Leelas of the Lord. All the seasons are simultaneously there. If the Lord wants, there will be rainy season. There will be clouds in the sky. There will be a sort of autumn season. So it is all because the planet is conscious and Purnamasi, who arranges Krishna's Leelas. So according to Krishna's will, okay, she manages it. Okay. Generally, Krishna, he has now given it. So he doesn't interfere. So the way Purnamasi, the way, his energies, they arrange, Krishna proceeds. Okay? So he himself, because it is, of course, because he himself, he is allowing it. So he himself becomes amazed by it. He also doesn't know what will happen next because he has told that you do whatever you want to do. Okay, just like a wealthy person, he may ask his cook to, you can prepare whatever you want. Okay, but of course, the cook, in material world, the person is not aware of what is coming. But Krishna, if he wants, he can become aware of. But he generally doesn't intervene. But sometimes if he wants, he can intervene also. Okay, so the purport is that the Goloka, it is a fully conscious planet, and there are 1,000 petals which are manifested by the Tad Ananta Amsha Sambhavam. So it is referring to Lord Balaram. As we know that the Lord has a Sarupa Shakti, okay, and it has got 3 divisions: Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini. Okay, so we are not going to go into great details, but Sandhini means the and which represents the Sat aspect. It is the responsible, and Baladev is, of course, it is Krishna only who is responsible, but he has given the Sandhini aspect potency to Baladev. So he manifests everything. Okay, so all the things, every physical manifestation which is there in this material world or in the spiritual world, it is possible by the Sandhini aspect of the Lord. And so the spiritual world also, Krishna's forms and his name, qualities, pastimes, everything, all manifestation is by Lord Baladev. Then the Samvit potency, Krishna himself is the takes in charge of that, and he is after the knowledge, the Chid aspect. Okay, Satchidanand. So we have Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. So it is all the spiritual moods which are there. So all the knowledge, everything which we have, all the awareness which is there, that is because of the not the awareness, but the knowledge is by the Samvit potency. And Ladini potency is all the Ananda, everything, all the enjoyment which comes out from these Sandhini and Samvit aspects. Okay, and all these 3 aspects, they work together. Now, these 3 potencies, okay, in the Chaitanya Shikshamrita, there's one book which is written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Okay, one can actually go and find, and one can read that. He says that there are Prabhava, Vibhava, and Anubhava, 3 aspects. So Krishna is there. He has this Sarupa Shakti that is also by the name of Chit Shakti, and that Swarupa Shakti, it has 3 forms to it. And one of the form is the Antaranga Shakti, Tatastha Shakti, and Bahiranga Shakti. The other form is the Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. And the third one is the Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini aspect of it. So when Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini aspect, when they are interacting, so they have their functioning in all the 3 Antaranga, Bahiranga, and Tatastha Shakti. Meaning, I'll explain that. So when the Sandhini, in the spiritual world, it is manifesting all the spiritual planets, all the forms and everything. Everything, all the existence is because of Baladev. In the Jiva, it is manifesting the Jivas, in the sense meaning of the Atma which are there in the spiritual world. It is manifesting their spiritual existence, their name, place, appearance, their spiritual body. And in the material world, it is functioning with respect to the manifestation of the material worlds, okay, and also of the Jiva's material body. That is possible by the Sandhini aspect. So all existence is possible by Sandhini aspect. Then the Samvit, the knowledge. In the spiritual, it is possible with all the spiritual knowledge which we have, all the spiritual moods and everything which is there in the spiritual world. All the knowledge, all the interaction which is there, that is possible by the Samvit potency. In the Atma, it is the knowledge of God. Okay, the knowledge of the bliss of Samadhi. Okay, because we have the Brahman realization, the Shanta Bhav. So everything gets covered. So all the knowledge, all the meta knowledge which is there, that is because of the Samvit potency acting on the Antaranga Shakti. on the Tadasya Shakti. On the Bahiranga Shakti, it is all the material knowledge, all the speculation, hopes, worries, and all the conception which we have in the material world. That is possible by the Samvit potency. In the Ladini potency, the bliss, the prema of the Lord is what functions in the material, in the spiritual world. In the Jiva, in the Tatastha Shakti, it is the spiritual bliss which the Jiva experiences. And in the material world, it is the gross material bliss, ignorance, and everything, all the material happiness which we have, that is possible because of the Ladini Shakti. So Shri Krishna is there. He has his Ichha Shakti, Swarupa Shakti, which is also invariably there is a name. Interchangeably, it can also be called by Chitta Shakti. It has got three forms: Vibhava, Prabhava, and Anubhava. Vibhava has the three aspects: Chitta Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. The Prabhava has the Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti, and the Anubhava has the Sandhini, Samvid, and Ladini. So why I'm explaining all this is that Baladev is responsible for Sat potency, Sandhini, and it is he who is manifesting all the spiritual existence in all the three worlds. Now, proceeding to next verse. Okay, and now one has to understand that this entire Goloka, it is made of the Chintamani jewel. Okay, what Chintamani is there, we'll see it as the course proceeds. So the third verse, Karni Karam Mahat Yantram Shat Konam Shat Konam Vajrakilakam Shadangi Shadapati Stanam Prakrutaya Purushena Sha Premananda Mahananda Rasena Vasitam Hiyat Jyoti Rupena Manuna Kama Bija Sangatam. So we are now focusing right at the center of this Sahasrapada lotus. So in the filament, that is Karani Kala Yantram Shat Konam Vajrakilakam. So there is a hexagonal structure. Okay, Shat Konam means that. And Karani Karam means the within the filament. So if you see a lotus flower, there is the filament, the middlemost portion. And over there, okay, as we have the Abhidheya Tattva Mantra, Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumada Srimadatnagara Samasana. So Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prishali Vesebya Manasmaravi. Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumada. So in the diagram also we have this description, as you can see it. So Radha Krishna, they are standing, they're sitting on a Simhasana Stav. So they are sitting on a golden throne beneath the Kalpa Vriksha. And they are surrounded, Sevya Manobi Prishtali Sevya Manosmarami. So they are surrounded by their close associates and they are accepting the service. So here, if you see, you can also simultaneously open the Goloka chart. And then there is the Bija Mantra, the Gayatri Mantra. Now, you have to know that actually, so the Gayatri Mantra, it is given by Diksha in a Guru Parampara. Okay, and the Guru, he gives the mantra, he recites the mantra in the right ear of the initiate, and it is not to be spoken publicly. The reason being that it is not that it is a sin, but it is no potency, it's a dead thing. Okay, so for the purpose of explanation, it can be uttered, okay, in public. But if one utters it without any, and it is an aparat, if one utters it without any, without initiation, it is an aparat, there will be no potency, it's a dead thing. So we have the Gopala Gayatri, claim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. And as you can see in the chart, so that is present on all the sides of the hexagon. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. Okay. Now this mantra, okay. So you have to understand we have the Kalpa Vriksha, we have the golden throne on which Radha Krishna is sitting. Okay, sometimes they stand also in front of that, and we have the gopis surrounding there. And this Klim Krishna Govinda Gopijana Vallabhai Swaha is the mantra which is endowed on the six sides of the uh, of the uh, the filament, the middle portion, the pericarpal of the lotus. And this entire thing is a yantra. Now, the yantra, if one is, I mean, if we see in the Agama Shastra, if one has studied, then one will know that the yantra is made for the purpose of worshipping the mantra. Okay, so that is a two-dimensional or even a three-dimensional, you can make a yantra representation of a mantra. Okay, so in a future course we will see it. Okay, how exactly this functions, because this is like a metaphysical aspect of reality. But essentially, you have to understand that each and every mantra has a yantra. Okay, and it is to worship, like even in the Shri Yantra. So we have the mantra which is there, but to worship and to meditate on that yantra, we have the on that mantra, we have the yantra, we have the nyas and all the paraphernalia which is there. Okay, we'll see it as we proceed. Now, so this mantra which is there, and this is non-different from the Lord. Okay, so the Lord is present in the mantra form and also in the Prakrite Purushena. So in both the ways, the Lord is present. Now, we will again come back to this. If you see in the photo, in the Goloka chart, on the right side we have the Krishna with gopis. On the left side, we have the Gaura Lila which is going on. So the implication is that, okay, that is the Madhurya Bhav and this is the Adarya Bhav. The Adarya means compassion and Madhurya means Madhurya Bhav. Madhurya Ras, when we talk about it, refers to the Shringar Rasa, but Madhurya in general is a Sanskrit term which means the sweetness of it. So why do we have this simultaneously? Because as we know from Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Navadvip is non-different from Goloka, from Vrindavan. Okay, and therefore the pastimes they are simultaneously going on, and it is explained that the Navadvip is the culmination of the Vrindavana pastimes. Okay, and therefore we have it side by side, because when you have that Adarya, so those close associates of the Lord who are participating in the very closely, who are associated, that when they have that compassion, that we should spread, we should give the bliss which they are experiencing, we should also give it to others, and thereby we have the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so this is the external reason. The intrinsic reason also given, how he, the three reasons which are there, he wants to taste the sweetness which is experienced by Srimati Radharani, what bliss she is experiencing. Okay, and also to relish his own qualities, he takes the birth. So that is there. So the Vrindavan, the Navadvip pastimes are the culmination of the Vrindavana pastimes, and therefore we have them side by side over there. Also, okay, if you see, so if you carefully see the lotus petals, at the closest, the first round, the first layer has the Madhurya, like even in the Goloka chart, you can actually have it. Okay, at the left side, you have it colored in different colors are given. So Madhurya Rasa is in the form of yellow color, then Vatsalya Rasa is in the form of orange saffron color, Sakhya Rasa in red form, and violet color is Dasya, and yellow color is Shanta Rasa. Okay, so now this is not just the creation of the of the artists who have made this, but it is actually described in this way in the Goloka, in the Brahma Samhita. specifically the commentary of Sri Jiva Goswami. Okay, so if one has, one can actually go and refer to Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary on this verse, and therein they can see. So, because in the verse it is mentioned that Sahasrapada Kamalam. So, what those petals are, okay, in this diagram also we can see that they are the bowers. They are, each and every petal has of the gopi, and that is also mentioned in the commentary to this verse. So we'll see that before afterwards. Before that, to now this is of course subject matter of some other course when of a pan.
IGF का
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, in the Pancharatrik Vidhi, okay, in Hari Bhakti Vilas also, we can find the description in the fifth Vilas. So they have a Pitha worship and different types of nyas and there's a elaborate way of worshipping. So any mantra which is there, it has a rishi attached to it, a meter attached to it, the chanda attached to it, the bija akshara of that mantra, the deity of that mantra, and also the shakti of that mantra. Okay, this is from. I'm not going into the details. So of this Gopala mantra, which is there, Gopala Gayatri, Narada Muni is the rishi. Rishi meaning that this mantra was revealed to. Traditionally, what it means is that there are different explanations of that. But once when a mantra is, because the Vedas, as was covered in the last course, the Veda Vriksha Vivaranam, that the mantras are eternal. Okay, it is not that they are created, okay, by the rishis, but they are manifested. They are revealed to the rishis in each and every kalpa. Okay, and but they are in the same form. Okay, and now we are digressing a bit, but you need to understand that Smriti and Shruti. So Smriti, the purport is same, but the words can change. Okay, in like one good example is that in the Bhagavad Gita only, the 9th chapter, the 18th chapter. I'm not remembering the verse, but there is one verse. Completely forgot it. At the end of the 9th chapter and in the 18th chapter also. The only the last two padas of the verse gets changed. So the purport is same, but the words can change. Okay, but in Shruti, the krama and the swara, they remain the same. It is eternal. Okay, Sripad Madhvacharya and his book Vishnu Tattva Nirnaya. Okay, and of course in several places we can find it. He is very particular. It is mentioned that the swara and the krama of the Vedas, they are eternal. Okay, even when the universe, even then everything is in an unmanifested form, in the Lord's mind, the swara and the krama is same. Okay, when the creation is done, it is revealed to different rishi munis at different times. Okay, so in that way, it can be said that the krama may change because to different rishis, it is revealed in a different way. But eternally in Vishnu's mind, and if one sees the Vedas, they are the same. So the mantras, they have a chanda, the meter in which they have to be recited. Now, like the first verse of Bhagavatam, it is recited in the Shadula Vikridita mantra. Okay, so that is in the so that is in the walk of a tiger. Janmadiyasya yatho anvayaditarata charteshva vighneswara. That is one way. And the typical anushtup which is there, janma karma chame divyam vedi tattvataha. So like this, there are different chandas which are there. Also, we have the bija mantras which are there. Just one point that the klim Krishna Govinda Vijana Vallabhai Swaha. The klim bija in the spiritual world manifests as Om. Okay, so the klim is the source of Om, of this material world. Okay, it is not that the Om is material, but in this material world, it manifests in the form of Om. Okay, this bija mantras also, which what it is there, we will actually discuss in a future course. Okay, because there are so all the varanas which are there the um, of the aksharas which we have, all of them there are raw form is the bija aksharas, klim, shrim, rim, om. Okay, and in the tantric practice and also in the pancharatric practice. Okay, tantric in the sense that generally people think of they have a connotation of some black magic and some kind of thing, but even in the pancharatric we ourselves use in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in our DP worship also, there are many bija aksharas which are used. Okay, because there are two paths. One is the Vedic path and the pancharatric path, and the tantric part, agamas. And one difference is we will see it in a future course, but still just for information, is that the bija aksharas are more powerful because they are the raw form. They are the unpolished rice, and the swaras, ka, kha, ga, and all the vowels and consonants, they are in a more refined way. Okay, but the bija aksharas, because they are the raw form, they are very powerful, and therefore they are used in the tantric practices. Okay, so Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is how the mantra which is there, and here in this mantra, Krishna is the devta. He is the he is the Adhishtan devta, Adhishtratu devta, and also uh, the uh, the subject of the mantra. Swaha is the Shakti, because all the mantras, each of them, they have this. And also in some places, it is mentioned that like if one sees the Hari Bhakti Vilas, when this mantra is quoted, it is said that Durga is the Adhishtratu Devta of this mantra. But Srila Jiva Goswami, in his commentary to this verse of Brahma Samhita, he says that Durga, and of course there also Durga refers to Srimati Radharani. Okay, he quotes a verse from Gautamiya Tantra. Radha Durga, Shiva Durga, Lakshmi Durga, Prakirtita, Gopala Vishnu Pujayam, Adiyanta Natu Madhyama. Durga is a name for Radha, Parvati, and Lakshmi in the worship of Gopala, Shiva, and Vishnu. So Durga actually refers to Radha, like Radharani, Srimati Radharani, just like how we have Lakshmi also actually referring to Radharani. So in some places, Radharani, sometimes Durga is considered to be the Adhishtratu Devta, but that is with the way of speaking about the non-difference between the Shakti and Shaktiman. Okay, because Radha and Krishna, they are same. Durga refers to Radharani, but it is the Shakti and Shaktiman. So with that perspective we have over there. Okay, so now we will go on to the next verse, the fourth verse. Tat kinjalam tat amshanam tat patrani shriyamapi. Okay, so herein we find that the different petals which are there, they are the abodes, bowers, groves of the gopis and other associates of the Lord. And Srila Jiva Goswami is in explaining it in his verse. So, and okay, now, okay, so we'll cover this after this. Okay, we'll fill the details later on. Okay. Right now you can just understand that the petals which are there, they are different. In the first layer, they are the different abodes of the gopis. After that, now this is the main verse. This is the Avarana of the Goloka. The fifth verse which we can read. Chatur asram tat paritaha shveta deepakhyam adbhutam. Chatur asram chatur murte chatur dhama chatushkrutam. Chatur bhi purusharthe bhischa chatur bhi hetu bhi vrutam. Suler dashabir anadam urdhva vadho dig vid shuapi. अष्टभी निधि भी जुष्टम अष्टभी सिद्धि भी तथा मनोरूपी दशभीर दिक्पाले स्परितो वृतम श्यामे गौरेश रक्तेश शुक्लेश पार्षदेशभिः शोभितं शक्तिभिः ताभिः अद्भुताभिः समन्तः. So The translation is, you can read the translation. I'm just giving the paraphrasing that this Goloka which we have, it is divided, it is surrounded, so it is divided into 4 parts, and the 4 parts, as you can see on the chart, they are are the abodes of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And it is also endowed with the 4 goals: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Okay, and also it is endowed with the 8 jewels which are there. Okay, we will also see Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who has also given a commentary to Brahma Samhita. He's mostly following Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also given a Prakashini commentary to Brahma Samhita, and who is in turn following Srila Jiva Goswami. So in his translation, he has given the names of the 8 jewels which surrounds the spiritual manifestation. They are Mahapadma, Padma, Shanka, Makara, Kachapa, Mukunda, Kunda, Neela. Okay, so we have the 4 abodes of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. We have the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. We have the 4 Vedas also: Rig Ved, Sam Ved, Yajur Ved, Atharva Ved, in their personified form surrounding the Goloka. Okay, so we'll talk about this later, but the description of okay, so we'll talk about it because we have the description of the prayers of the personified Vedas in Bhagavatam in the 87th chapter. So that is referring, so that the 4 Vedas who are there, they eternally recite. Okay, and they glorify the Lord. And then we have the 8 jewels, the Digpalas, who are protecting the 10 protectors, Digpalas, which are there in the form of mantra, in the form of Trishuls. They are protecting 10 directions. So we have the 8 direction and the Zenith and Nadir directions which are there. So now we'll expound more on this. Okay. Before that, okay, we have to understand that this is with respect to Gokul, Goloka, Vrindavanam, Mathura, Dwarka, and all these terms which many a times Gokul, Goloka we are kind of interchangeably using, but you have to know that the Mathura, Puri. Okay, so Mathura, okay, even now in present time, so Mathura is a district and we have Vrindavan inside it. So there is a Mathura city, and then we have the Gokul. And Goloka is at the at the outskirts of the Gokul. So we have the Goloka and then the Gokul, which is there. So Goloka is a part of Gokul. Now, what is this Goloka? So devotees who worship Radha Krishna in Vaidhi Bhakti, they attain Goloka because they have a form of reverence present in them. So they attain the Goloka, and those who follow the path of Raganuga Bhakti, they attain the Gokul. So in the Goloka, it is also in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it is mentioned. I think so in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the Eastern Ocean, second wave, 303rd verse, that is mentioned. Specifically, very clearly, Rupa Goswami is mentioning that those who worship with Vaidhi Bhakti, Vishwanathan Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary is explaining, with Vaidhi Bhakti they attain Goloka, and with Raganuga Bhakti they attain Gokula. So although there is a prominence of reverence, but they don't want to worship in the form because that mood is different from the mood of the queens in Dwarka. Okay, because there also the awe reverence mood is there, but here the mood is distinct from that. So thereby they have the Goloka Vrindavan which is a part of Gokul. So there is Aishwarya Vaikunta, Aishwarya Vrindavan, and then we have the Gokul, which is there. And then in Gokul we have the Govardhana, Nandagaon, and Barsana, and Vrindavan. Also, one has to understand if one sees the geography of the material, the Vrindavan which we have here. So here also we have a Gokul, Golok, Vrindavan in the spiritual world, and we have it in material world also. The same spiritual manifestation right there in the material plane. It is completely non-different. That spiritual manifestation is unlimited, but by the Lord's inconceivable potency, we have it here manifested in a limited way. And that is the Aprakruta Leela, and here it is Prakruta Leela, because here when Krishna is performing this Nit, so it is sometimes manifested, and sometimes it is unmanifested, but it is eternal. Now, a question may be asked that if it is eternal, it is going at every moment. Yes, as it is, Srila Prabhupada explains in his purports that so at every moment, so when Damodar Leela is over in one universe, it is going on in the another universe, and in that way it is eternal. One. Secondly, when all the universes they are destroyed, when they are in the within Mahavishnu's abode, Mahavishnu's body, what happens then? It is explained in the usual Nilamani, okay, in the commentary, Srila Vishwanathan Chakravarti Thakur. Then there also the Lord manifests the universes, and therein he is performing his leelas. Okay, so at every time, so there is a Prakruta Leela when Krishna 5,000 years back when he came, he manifested his leelas. Apart from that, we have the Aprakruta Leela which is still going on. Those with the mature eyes they can see it. And apart from that, also when all the universe, everything is destroyed, we have Krishna manifesting the universes, and therein he performs. Okay, I will send if someone wants, I can send the reference, but it is in the last portion, in the commentary of Vishwanathan Chakravarti Thakur, one of the verses of Sri Rupa Goswami. Okay, so that is to be kept in mind. So we have the Goloka Vrindavan, which is a portion of Vrindavan. After that, we have discussed the Goloka aspect, and yeah, so what I was discussing about. So in the Prakruta, we have the Vrindavan, and 20 kilometers. So the distance between Govardhana and Vrindavan is about 20 kilometers. The difference between Nandagaon and Govardhan is also similarly 20 kilometers. So, and Krishna every day, so because from Nandagaon he used to go to Govardhana, which is cows, and when they were thirsty, he used to go to Yamuna, which is present in the Vrindavan. So, and then he used to return back to Govardhana, and then he used to go to Nandagaon. So about 100 kilometers. So how do we understand it? Okay, so one explanation which is given that how it is in the form of a lotus. So the explanation which they give is, so the lotus expands, it contracts and it expands. So when it is contracts, Krishna is very able. So this is Gokul, suppose. This is Nandagaon, and this is let's say Govardhan. So these are now like quite far, but when you contract, when you shrinking the lotus, and they are very near. But and his Gokul Siddha Prabhu also, he had explained it in this way. But then the Brahma Samhita course which he had conducted during the COVID, he's explaining that because he had also himself heard it in one lecture that this is also not a correct explanation. How it happens is just inconceivable potency. We cannot just mechanically explain that the lotus, it is moving, it expands and it contracts, and then that way it is there. These are all explanations. The mechanical explanation, but it is just by his inconceivable potency it is happening. Okay. Also, Okay. Anyways, so we were discussing about yes. So there are added advantage in the Prakriti in the over the Vrindavan over here because we can see the birth pastimes, the pastimes of killing of the demons. For there only there are Bhranti. Okay, Putana has come, Shaktasura has come. There are only false knowledge which is there. Okay. Also, the husbands also here they are real husbands in the sense that they're not husbands, that's sure, but there are real personalities which are there. So there's a real sort of fear which is there. But in Golok Vrindavan, there are no real husbands. But there's a conception. The gopis are aware of that we have a husband, but there is no real husband. Also, so but by this way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining that how actually it is more uh, here there is more relish because we can witness the birth pastimes of Krishna. And as it is explained that it is not that yad gatvana nivartante tatama paramam. Okay. Sorry, not this one, but the fact that as soon as we leave this body, we are immediately promoted to the spiritual world. There are more things in between. It's not that we are immediately promoted. First, we have to become qualified. After that, one is actually he goes to he participates in a Krishna Lila which is going on in this some of the material universe. For there he gets some training, and after that training he is promoted to spiritual world. Even before that, it is not that directly goes to some material world Krishna Lila which is going. Before that, he participates in the Chaitanya Lila. Okay, so there he is participating in Chaitanya Lila, gets the training, then he goes to the Krishna Lila which is being performed in the material world, and after that he goes to spiritual world. And we have devotees who also add that we in ISKCON, we first go to where Srila Prabhupada is. Okay, we go, we assist him. Okay, go Srila Prabhupada, constantly in different universes, in different planets, he's propagating the holiness. So we go, we first assist him over there, we become trained, then we go to Chaitanya Leela, then we go to uh, the the material, the Krishna Leela, which is going on this material world. And after that, finally, with full proper training, we are promoted to the Leelas in the spiritual world. So that one has to understand. Okay. Now, so in the spiritual, if you see the Goloka chart also, which you can submit it, uh, it is in the form of a yantra. It is more specifically in the form of a yagyakun, which is there. So this, it is not exactly that if you go to the spiritual, you will see actually a yagyakun kind of way. Okay? Now, because over here, now the square structure which is there, it is mentioned in the verse. Okay, this in the next verse, you will see the next in the previous or the next verse that there's a square structure which is there. That description is there. From there, we find this the inspiration for drawing this. Okay, but it is not that in a square form we have the Mathura, then we have the Jagannath Puri, and then we have the Dwarka. It is as a pictorial representation. And the references for this, okay, because in the Goloka chart, if you study the Goloka chart, they have also given the verses which are there. Okay, why Jagannath Puri is there? What is the reference for Jagannath Puri? What is the reference for Mathura? What is the reference for Dwarka? Okay. Mathura and Dwarka, we have it references from Chaitanya Charitamrita also, from uh, our in many scriptures in Lagu Bhagavatam. But Jagannath Puri, we have the references in one in the Brihat Bhagavatam also. Okay, it is actually one has studied or one has at least heard the story, one has read Brihat Bhagavatam, not completely or at least the second part of Gopakumar, then one can actually very well appreciate the post. But nevertheless, it's fine.
So therein, when Gopakumar will at the end, on the last day, we'll cover the Gopakumar story. Okay, so when he reaches on his quest to find his dear Gopal, so he is Sakhya Bhav. So roughly the story. So he was a Brahmana in the in this Vrindavan. Okay, and then he gets a mantra. He's promoted to Swargaloka, then he's promoted to uh, Maharloka, then Tapaloka, then he to Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. Then he goes to Shivaloka. He sees also the Brahman realization. Then he comes back to Vrindavan. Then he goes to Vaikunta and Vrindavan to the Bhugol Vrindavan. Then he goes to Vaikunta over there. But at every time he sees a different form of the Lord. Like in Swarga, he sees Upendra. Tapaloka is in Marloka is seeing the Yajna form of the Lord, but he's not satisfied because he's an eternal associate of the Lord, Sakya Bhav. He has he wants to reciprocate to communicate with Lord in a Sakya Bhav. But to every loka is going, but he's not finding the satisfaction. So someone is guiding him that you go there, go to upward, and well, like that he lands up in Vaikunta. Then he goes to Ayodhya. He meets Lord. He meets Lord Ramachandra. He goes to then Dwarka. He meets um, Narada and Uddhav, and they are suggesting him that you can go to Jagannath Puri. Then they say that you can actually directly go to Mathura. Then there he goes to Goloka Vrindavana. And Goloka Vrindavana, he finally meets his worshipful deity, like not deity, his Sakya friend Krishna. And he gets his eternal name, that is Sarupa. Okay, so Sarupa is the name of uh, the eternal name of uh, the our Gopkumar. So we'll see. It's a very interesting story, actually. And we there in Brihad Bhagavatamrita we find extensive description of the Goloka Vrindavan, which is there. Okay, therein it is mentioned that the one is that the demons, it is only Bhranti of them which is there. Also, the pastimes are repetitive in nature. And as we have so Krishna is in the Kamara, Kauganda, and Kaishora. And at the mature stage of Kaishora, 16 years, at that at that age like in that age he's eternally present. Okay, but it is described in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Okay, that whenever Yashodamai sees Krishna, she is seeing Krishna as 5 years. Okay, so the scene description is there. So Krishna is there, gopis are there, and Yashodamai sees. When Yashodamai sees, Krishna is a 5-year-old kid, and the gopis, okay, they see him as a youth. And simultaneously it is happening. So that is why it is, as I had said, that it is a fully conscious planet. Okay, and it's a to put it in words, multi-dimensional way. Okay? Different people. So according to your roop, you're seeing. Yashodamai with Vatsalya Bhava only she is constantly saying, see, all her entire vision, entire understanding of Krishna is with Vatsalya Bhava. Okay, Krishna's friends they see it from Krishna, so they have it from the Pavanda. So from them, for them, Krishna is manifesting in the Pavanda Bhaya. So like that, simultaneously it is happening. You can read Mahabharata, that story, that description is here. And it is said that, so we have that when Akrura came to take Krishna, so we have that Krishna goes, he leaves Vrindavan, and then he never returns. What we find in Bhagavatam. Okay, but it is also mentioned that it is that the Vasudev Krishna who leaves the Vrindavan, but the Krishna, the Gokul Krishna, is staying in an unmanifested state because there is a verse which says that Krishna never leaves Gokul, never keeps one step outside of Gokul, Golok Vrindavan. So how is it possible? This is the reference. Okay, manifested, unmanifested way, but he always over there. And also in the Padma Puran, we find the description that actually Krishna comes back okay, after 55 years, 55 years, and he actually comes back to Golok Vrindavan, he meets everyone, he takes them. all he takes everyone to the eternal, to the spiritual abode. That description is also given. But the Leela, what we know is that Krishna comes, okay, so Akrura comes and he goes with Akrura. In spiritual world also there is that description that Kamsa is calling Krishna. So Akrura comes, same pastime goes, Golok Brajavasi, they are lamenting. But then there is a description that the Krishna comes back. Okay, so that's why the Leelas over there, they are in circular motion. Point is, the Kalya Leela, the Putana Leela, they again manifest. Okay, again and again they are happening. But to the Brajavasis, it's not that, okay, it is again happening. It is not a clip which is again getting played. For them, it is new and new. It is as if a new something which is happening for the first time. Okay, this is mentioned. Sarupa, so like when Gopakumari is narrating this to Ramana, he says, again, in a circular way, it is happening, and that is in that way, the Leelas over there are eternal. It is not that for once and on for all, Damodar Leela is now done. It is happening. Okay, and to facilitate that, we have time. To facilitate that, we have the notion of day and night, the notion of, it is also mentioned in the scriptures that in Goloka Vrindavan, all the seasons they are simultaneously present. So it is not that the mango is present only uh, in the summer season. In all the seasons, it is present. Okay, as soon as Krishna walks through a particular path, all the flowers over there they are already blossoming. They even further they further blossom, and they point it. So Krishna is walking from here. Okay, so this is a flower, and the flower turns as Krishna is walking. The flower kind of reorients itself. Okay, and it is said that whenever Krishna is playing hide and seek, it is very easy to detect where Krishna is sitting. Because wherever Krishna is sitting, wherever Krishna is hiding, all the flowers over there, all the fruits, everything they blossom up. So it is known that okay, Krishna is sitting. So like that, there are many descriptions. Okay, which is there. At the end of today's class, I will actually, if one has to, because this is not something which can be actually covered in the course. It is something which a person has to himself go read at his own pace. The best is to read in Sanskrit, but still we have the English translations. Okay, because much gets lost in translation. There are many layers which are there, but it is not conveyed. It is not possible to have everything in Sanskrit. So in English language. Nevertheless, it's fine. So to go read, meditate on that, and thereby relish. So all the books, and all the Leela, the books, Garga Samhita, Anand Vrindavan Chappu, Pala Chappu, like that. Many books. At the end, we will see it. Okay. So next we have in the Brahma Samhita verse, also it is said that if you see the last line of the fifth verse which we were discussing, and it is said that it is also surrounded by various Shaktis of the Lord. Okay, and in the Shaktis of the Lord, they are so Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvabhauma Thakuri says that Vimala and etc. Likewise, Srila Jiva Goswami also. But we find it from Padma Puran and also from Haribhakti Vila, which is quoting Padma Puran, that there are 9 potencies which are there: Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prabhi, Satya, Ishana, and Anugraha. Okay, so these 9 Shaktis which are there, which is surrounding the Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, so that you can keep in mind. Apart from that, so just going through the commentary, if there is any other important point which can be covered. One can actually maybe after the end of this class, you can go through the entire commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami and also of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvabhauma Thakur. on the first 5 verses of the Brahma Samhita. So now coming back to the Goloka chart which we have. Now, why do we have the question may be raised? Why do we have the four Vedas which are there? It is because they are eternally, they have the Shruti Gopis which are there. They aspire to serve the Lord in the Shruti, in the Gopi Bhav. They are also constantly glorifying the Lord. Vasudeva, Sankarsh, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they are actually uh, they are, it is in the Vrindavan surrounding the Goloka in the sense, they are manifesting in the Mathura, Dwarka, and Jagannath Puri. So there they have the manifestation, like the Vasudeva. So it is not that Krishna is there in Mathura. It is the Vasudeva who is there in Mathura, Dwarka. Like that, the description is given in the scriptures. Now, why we have Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha? So Dharma, in its absolute form, in its personified, in its highest way, in its ultimate, um, uh, what do we say? In its ultimate, the zenith of its existence, it is present over there. And the only way is to, and the what we have, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha over here, is just the semblance of that which is there in the spiritual world. And so this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the references to four Purusharthas. But in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a difference which they say that Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, and Aishwarya which are there. Okay. And as we will see in the Vaikuntha and the Avarana description of the Vaikuntha, there also the 14 seasons. So nevertheless, it is one and the same thing. So we have these four Chatur, the four forms of the Lord, the four Vedas, and also the four Purusharthas which are there. Now we have the 8 jewels which are there on the 8 sides of the entire. If you will see, you will have to see at the corner on the border side of the image. There are 8 jewels which are there, and there are trishuls. Now, why these trishuls are there? So this trishul, Jiva Goswami in his commentary he explains that it is the 3 trishul, they represent 3 gunas, the 3 forms of time. So all those Ashtang yogis, all those who are in the Brahman realization. So as we know, the Goloka and its effulgence is the Brahman. And those who are after the Brahman realization, they are into that realm. So if they try to enter into the Goloka, they are repelled by this Trishul. Or any person who does not qualify, who are still in the 3 gunas, they are repelled by these Trishuls which are there in all the directions. The Dikpalas, they are also there. Okay, now this is from Vastu. It was briefly covered in the Veda Viksha course, but it will also be covered in the Agamas. That in Vastu, so there are 8 directions: east, west, east, south, west, north. Then northeastern, southeastern, southwest, northwest, and then up direction, upwards and downwards. In Vastu, it becomes very important. Okay, because each and every direction they have certain energy. There's a Vastu Purusha, and we have to perform activities. We have to keep things according to the nature of that particular direction. For example, worshiping everything is done in the northeastern direction. That is the direction of Ishana. And the Navagrahas also, they are also there. Like the east, it is represented by Sun, Surya, Indra. So the demigods, I will simultaneously speak the direction, the Devta, the mantra which is mentioned over here, okay, and the bija which is there, and the graha which is. Okay, simultaneously I will speak this. We'll begin it from the eastern direction. So eastern direction we have the Indra, and we have Sun, and the bija, the mantra is Om Indra, Om Lam Indraya Namaha. So that Lam is again the bija. So you can add the bija aksharas. Okay, actually, it's a big thing. In Jyotish also in Parihara, it is actually used how to add that bija akshara depending on particular case. That's descriptions given. Then we have the southeastern direction. That is Agni. To those who know or Vastu, they will say. The mantra is Om Ram Agnaye Namaha. Agni is the direction, and the planet of the Navagraha is Shukra. Okay. Now, what implication is there? Now, when we are discussing about Jyotish, we'll see okay, why we are the planet is there. Okay, and generally, all kind of kitchen, it is the ideal place for Agni, for all kind of cooking, Agni related thing. Stove is to be kept idle places, southeastern direction. Even washing machine, I mean, to just digressing a bit, but because it is a direction of churning, so you can also have the washing machine. And then we have the southern direction. The demigod is the Yama. So for southeast, there is Agni. For south, it is Yama. Okay. The planet is Mangal. And the mantra is Om Mam Yamaya Nama. So the mantra you can find it over in the chart. And the Bijakshar is Mam. So now this planet, so this direction, um, it is a multi-threaded purpose. This, and it is associated with Mangal. Then we have the southwestern direction. The demigod is Nirutti. Okay. In fact, these demigods which are there in the Vaikunta, in the Avaranas of the seven layers, if you can see in the Goloka chart, those layers which are there, one of the layer has all this devtas also in their original. We'll discuss that. So the mantra is Om Sham Rakshaya Namaha. The Bijakshara is Sham, and the graha associated is Rahu. All the waste, all the heavy items, all the useless things we keep it. It's not a good, I mean, not an auspicious direction in fact. Then we have the western direction. The in charge is the Saturn Shani. Okay. The demigod is Varuna Dev. And the mantra is Om Vam Varunaya Namaha. And the Bijakshara is Vam. Then the it is a good place for gains. Okay. Locker can be kept over. Then we have the northwestern direction by represented by Vayudev. And that is the Om Yam Vayave Namaha. Okay. And this direction, the planet is associated is Moon. Okay, so generally there should not be any bedroom in this direction because it can have suicidal tendencies. And like that, there are many implications. So, I mean, so just to say that it is also already covered in the Veda Vriksha course. It will also be covered in some future course in some way. And also subsequently in this course only when we talk about Jyotisha, we are going to discuss about the Karakas, all the Grahas. But how the way it functions is that because there's a very important word in Sanskrit that is Karaka. In English, it is translated as signification. So everything there is a the way this material world works is karma, and to deposit to the disposition of that karma because there has to be some mechanism. It's a kala chakra. And the navagrahas which are there, they as when one is born, that time the planetary position there, thereby they give the planets and they give the results. And they have a karakas, the signification. The moon, Jupiter, and all the grahas, they have that signification. And then so then saying the position in the chart and like that the interpretation is like that we have. The northern direction is by Kuvera. The mantra is Om Sham Kuveraya Nama. The graha is Buddha, Mercury. Okay, so it's a good place for wealth. Okay, that's why people have northern direction entries. If you see north direction is best for entrance. Okay, but it depends in case if you have an office, then perhaps eastern direction is a good place. Okay, for houses generally they prefer northern direction, and of course they have the regions also. There are 32. Hare Krishna. So then we have the uh, north eastern direction, Ishana. Okay, Om Ham Ishanaya Namah. The deity associated is the Ishana, that refers to Sadashiv. So it's a very important direction for us. The material world is situated at the northeastern direction. So if you see the spirit in the Vaikunta Avarana, okay, in the Vaikunta chart, if you can see on the northeastern side, there is Ishana. That Ishana is only the Mahakal Yoga, which is mentioned in the. If you go below, you will see it. Okay, so this Mahakal Dham is the Ishana. Is the Ishana. So we are basically we understand that our material world is situated at the northeastern direction of the spiritual world. Okay, in a way to kind of understand it. Then the planet associated is Guru, Jupiter. That's why it is the best place to have temple. Okay, over there. So like this, we have the uh, 10 directions, and also the up direction, also the upward direction, and also the below direction. They are represented by Brahma and Ketu. There are different opinions about that. Some say Ananta is representing the the above the Nadir, and the above direction is represented by Brahma. So, anyway, that is with respect to the Avaranas. After that, in the verses, there is nothing else to cover. Uh, I think so. The Mathura, Dwarka, and Jagannath Puri, we will cover it tomorrow only. We won't be able to cover it today. Now, there is something which I would like to discuss about is the associates. So something about more details of the Vrindavan. So now this one which I'm speaking is from the Radha Krishna Ganodesh Deepika book, and this is written by, I think so. This is written by Rupa Goswami. I am not mistaken. Yeah. So before that, there's one important point there. So if in the Goloka chart, if you see, you have the Goloka. We have covered the petals which are there. We have the Lalita, the Madhurya petals, Madhurya Rasa. Then we have the Vatsalya. Then we have the Sakya. And you can see in the Goloka chart, they have depicted the leelas of that particular rasa in the different petals. And at the end, we have the Shvetadip. Now, what is this Shvetadip? So this Shvetadip, it is explained that this is from the so the cows in the Vrindavan, so much milk they produce. So the outskirts of the Goloka, it gets filled with milk, and that is the Shvetadip. So this Shvetadip, and there is also a Shvetadip in material world. Okay, and at the outskirts we have the Navadvip, the Mayapur Navadvip which we have. Okay, so and all the associates of the Lord. There is one another book, Gaura Gano Desh, Gaura Gano Desh Deepika, written by Kavi Sri Kavi Karnapura, and therein he is explaining uh, the how the corresponding leaders. Like we have, okay, in the chart also we have so Lalita Devi and her Rupa in the Chaitanya Leela. Like that we have for all the associates, all the Parshadas of Goloka. So that Shvetadip which is there, that has to be understood. So that is on the outskirts of the uh, Goloka. So in the in the Brahma Samhita commentary also you can find it. So one thing is it would be very nice for you all to have a revision. Of course, the recording will be provided, you can go revise it. But to go and read Brahma Samhita, at least Brahma Samhita and the verses in the commentaries. Jiva Goswami's commentary, the PDF is freely available on the internet. BBT only had published it. Anu Maharaj has translated the Jiva Goswami's commentary. So now with this being done, is there any doubt? I mean, I didn't ask it up until now, but pertaining to this, is there any doubt? No doubt?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I don't have any doubt right now because
Yes.
of my internet connection.
Hare Krishna?
Are you able to hear me, Prabhu? Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm saying I don't have any doubts now because due to my internet connection, I could not connect properly. So I'll revise. If I have any doubts, I'll ask you tomorrow. Is it okay?
Yeah, there is no problem. I mean, at the end of the class, you can ask between the class, and at the last session which we are going to have, therein will keep some time for question and answers.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, okay, so now there is no doubt. So I will just go to the next topic, which is there. To give some more technical details of the Vrindavan, which we have in our scriptures. So now this one is from Sri Radha Krishna Ganodesh Deepika. Therein we have all the associates of the Lord. Like there are many technical details which are mentioned over there. So I will just cover the what is there in the book. There is a Brihad Bhag and there is a Lagu Bhag. In the Brihad Bhag, first the Krishna's family is explained. But how all the residents in Krishna in Vrindavan, they are either Pashupala herdsmen, they are priestly class Vipras, or they are artisans, Mahishas. Okay? And then there are 5 groups within Krishna's family: Vaishyas, Abhiras, Gurjaras, Vipras, Mahishas. And then there is a description of Krishna's honorable elders which are there. So first we have the paternal side description. So Krishna's paternal grandfather's name is Parjana. Paternal grandfather's name is grandmother's name is Variyasi. Father's name is Nanda Maharaj. Mother's name is Yashoda Mata. Balram's mother is Sri uh, Rohini Devi. Nanda Maharaj's brothers, Upananda, Abhinanda, Sananda, and Nandana. So actually there are 9 brothers, but only 4 are mentioned over here. And Nanda Maharaj's sisters. So Nanda Maharaj has 2 sisters, Sananda and Nandini. And Nanda Maharaj's cousin brothers, Chatu and Vatuk. Maternal side, maternal grandfather is Sukha. Maternal grandmother is Patala. Sri Krishna's maternal uncles, mamas. Okay? Yashodhara, Yashodeva, Sudeva. So they are Yashodamai's brothers. And maternal sisters, that is Krishna's masis. Yashoda Devi, Yashodevi, elder one, and Yashasvini, younger one. So elder and younger to like with respect to Yashodamai. After that, and then we have like there are many descriptions on this, in some brief ideas. Generally, we have heard the term Yutha, okay, Yutha of the gopis. So the classification over there is given. The Yutha is a big group. Then we have many kulas over there. Then we have mandalas over there. Then we have ganas over there. Samavayas over there. Inside that, sanchayas inside that, samajas after that, and samvyas. The samajas is the Varishta Ashtagopis which we know. Lalita Devi, Vishaka Devi, Champaklata, Chitra, Suchitra, Tungavidya, Anduleka, Ranga Devi, Sudevi. Now, in this, and there's another book, Sri Gaur Govind Archana Smarana Paddhati, which is written by Sri Dhyanachandra Goswami. Over there, we have description of the Ashtagopis, elaborate description of their bower, where they stay, their age, their complexion, the the ornaments which they wear, the color of their sari, the seva which they do. Okay, so we'll just touch that. And so Lalita Devi, her seva, she has many sevas, and flower decoration is one of her seva. Okay, making flower decorations, garlands, ornaments. Vishaka Devi, her service is painting, writing poems, etc. Champaklata's service, supervising messengers and cooking. She's a very expert cook. Chitra, speaking foreign languages, astrology, animal, tree care. So she knows the, just by seeing the, she knows what time is perfect for which activity. Okay, so that is her expertise. So she thereby guides Radha Krishna. And Tungavidya, now as we have the photo also, Tungavidya is expert in playing musical instruments and in dramaturgy. So she is a very paka Natyashastra Gyata. So she has that Mridanga playing. Induleka, skilled in Samudrika Shastra, Nagatantra, and jewelry making. So she can make jewelry making, and Samudrika Shastra means the just by the lakshanas she can recognize of a lakshana of a person just by the face. So we have, I mean, again, this is a part of Jyotish. There is a Samudrika lakshana. So just by Hasarekha, by face reading, by all different, or the way the person walks, so that we can figure out. Ranga Devi, expert in logic, has received a mantra to attract Krishna. So she can very easily attract Krishna. Sudevi, she is serving Srimati Radharani's body. She teaches Shuka and Shari. Shuka and Shari, they are two peacocks, the two parrots of Srimati Radharani. And she is skillful in boat pastimes. We have the, there is one book, forgetting the name. Danakele, no, not Danakele Gaumati. There is one book, Vidagdha, I think from Vidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav. Therein we have the description. So then we have many other descriptions. So I'm going through that. Then we in the Gaur Govinda Archana Smarana Paddhati. Okay, the subject matter of that book is something. It is on how to we can perform dhyana of the lordships. There also we have a description. We'll just cover that usually of Ashta Gopis. Yeah, before that, there are 60, the description of the 12 ornaments and 16 accoutrements of Radharani. Okay, so the 12 ornaments of Srimati Radharani are, which I mentioned on Ujjwal Neelamani also, both chapter 10 verse, a crown jewel, golden earrings, golden belt, medallion, two chakri, shakhalaka, they are the what do you say, earrings, then the two bracelets, throat ornament. So, and then we have the rings, the necklace, the armbands. The armbands are like they are on the arms, anklets, and the toe rings. The throat ornaments are very, so they are tied to the throat. Next, then we have the necklaces, and then we have the medallion also. So these are the 12 ornaments of Srimati Radharani. The 16 accoutrements, they are the supporting kind of Shindhara of Srimati Radharani. There are freshly bathed body, pearl shining at the tip of her nose, colored cloth, sash over her waist, tied up braid, ear ornaments, anointed limbs. She applies different perfumes on different limbs, flower in her hair, garland around neck, lotus in her hand. So she carries lotus, betel nut in her mouth, musk dot on her chin, mascara on her eyes, uh, patterns on her cheeks, lace on her feet, lac on her feet. That is, I think so this refers to the uh, lac refers to that nupuro and tilak on her foot. Her age is 9 years, 5 months, and 20 days. But because of her intense enjoyment, half of this age also gets added to it. So her age is 14 years, 2 months, and 15 days. Her father is Vrishabhanu, mother is Kirtida, husband is Abhimanyu, brother-in-law is Durmukha, mother-in-law is Jatila, sister-in-law is Kutila. Her house is in Yavata. Now, the Ashta Sakhis which we have. All the Ashta Sakhis, they have their own bower. So, Lalita Sakhi, she is staying at the northern side of Radhakund. She has a particular complexion, bright yellowish. Uh, her dress resembles peacock feather. Her age is 14 years, 8 months, 27 days. In Gaur Leela, she is Swarup Damodar. And there is a nature, Vama Prakara. I'm not going into this, we'll see it in some future course. She also has a group, and her mantra is Shrim Lam Lalita Swaha. For Vishaka Devi also, on the northeastern side of the Radhakund, and her dress, her complexion is golden. Dress color is cloth like stars in the sky. 14 years, 2 months, 15 days. She has a mantra. So I'm just going through so the Ashtal Sakhis, they are from northern, northeastern, eastern, southwestern, south, even south, the southwestern, the west, northwestern, and northeastern. So like that, they have their bowers surrounding the Radhakund all have a particular complexion. So like that, description is given in Gaura Archana Swaram Paddhati. So why I'm not going through this is lack of time is one of the reasons, but this is something about because I speak, you don't have, you may not be able to properly comprehend it. It is something to be read about, to be contemplated about, to be meditated about. And actually, these are very exalted. Okay? That is also there. So it is something which is of further subject matter. After that, suppose, yeah, something else which is remaining to be covered. Are there any doubts then? If there are no doubts, then we will cover, wind up call for the day. And let me check if there is anything remaining. I think it's mostly covered. So tomorrow we will be covering in brief about the Mathura, Dwarka, Jagannath Puri, about the uh, Vaikunta layers, and also the Ayodhya Dham. So that is the subject matter for tomorrow. And if there are no doubts, then we will find out for the today. Okay. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुत स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यसवे वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रम उपनिषदे गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिता तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदो सुरसुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you very much. हरे कृष्ण. श्री गोपाल की जय.